Author's Forward, Gen Z edition. Okay, so here's the deal. This book first dropped on Feb 11th, 2001, back when I was a lecturer at Fareham College in the UK. Since then, it's had a few glow-ups, different versions, and new formats, all for various reasons. The OG intro basically said, David Clark teaches electronics at Fareham College and has been doing so since 1989. But let's rewind a bit. Before that, I was deep in the streets, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. I had a solid 3-year run of crime that flew under the radar until January 16th, 1970, when everything changed. I had a crazy expected encounter with Jesus while tripping on LSD. Yes, you read that right. Post-conversion, I had to teach myself to read because, let's be real, I was basically illiterate. But I dove into the Bible and classic Christian books, got my education on, and eventually trained to be a lecturer. I earned my Cert Ed from Birmingham University, started teaching at Luton College in '78, and over the years I've taught hundreds of students. Now, real talk, I hit a rough patch in 1990, walked away from God, went through a divorce, then a remarriage. But in 1994, I got back on track and started telling my friends about what Jesus had done for me. This book? It's a raw, honest take on how I got back up after hitting rock bottom, written for anyone who's struggling and looking for hope. Fast forward to now, I feel it's time to reach out to my old students, friends, and basically anyone who will listen. I went through some wild stuff, but nothing compares to what hell is like. I need people to know that Jesus saves, and salvation is real. Think of this like my own version of Schindler's List, but instead of rescuing people from war, I'm trying to help save souls. I've got a list of 250 plus names, former students, old friends, who I'm reaching out to, hoping they'll hear me out. Some have gone through tough times, failed marriages, job losses, addiction, even death. I even ended up conducting a funeral for one of my old students, John Sawyer, when he had literally no one else left. So yeah, this book isn't just about me. It's a message of hope. Jesus is still changing lives today, and I believe he's given me a word about this testimony. It reminds me of the moment in Luke 5-9 when they were shook at how many fish they caught. That's kind of how I feel about sharing this story. I know some people will be surprised at what God's done in my life. One last thing. When the first edition dropped, the principal of Fareham College straight up refused to write a foreword. His reason? He didn't want anything to do with a book that mentioned drugs. Wild, right? He didn't even read it, just judged it by the cover, converted on an LSD trip. Because of that, I've put out different editions with different titles. You can find them all on Amazon under further publications at the end of this book. But no matter what title it's under, the message stays the same. Jesus still saves, and there's hope for everyone. Let's get into it.